Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Gavel Gang Podcast, an insight into the collections we get here at Ewbank's auction house in Surrey. No stairway!
Denied.
As you know, you seem to be playing Stairway to Heaven very well there, James. I might have to get a lesson off you. Not catalogued yet, but looks like another guitar coming up. Got lots of nice guitars in the current auction, haven't we, Andrew?
We have got loads. Plenty. Oh, over here. Can we start again?
Here we are again. And now we've had the record sale. We're back. Went well, didn't it?
Went very well. Well done, John. Fantastic result.
That figure I kept saying, you said, don't say that figure.
Yeah.
Don't want to jinx it. And they did.
I didn't want to tempt fate, but so we invoiced £132,000
Right.
against, what was the high estimate there? 60? 60,000?
60, maybe just creeping in 70. Yeah, amazing.
Brilliant.
It was record fever. People were here in person on the day, which was great. Real buzz. Loads of people came to view. Some people spent entire days here viewing.
Did. And mostly private buyers, I think, because we got some really good news coverage. So these records are going to get listened to, which is brilliant.
Yeah, that was nice. We were reaching the end user, so to speak, where the people who just seem to want the actual records in some cases, got what they were after.
What was the top
Magic. The top lot was the John Peel lot of 70-odd records, and that was with fees over 4,000. Individual top lots, there was quite a few. There was the Who Sell Out with the poster. And now, funnily enough, never seen one in my life. Now we've got another one in this auction. Nick Drake did well. David Bowie dress cover did very well.
Yeah.
Can't remember figures right now, but they were all up there. And exciting.
Yeah.
Yes. Plenty of records in this next auction as well.
We've got live memorabilia sale on the 22nd of May. And you've got some guitars in there as well.
Lots of nice guitars. I think the most guitars, certainly in my time at Ewbanks, that we've had. One really lovely sort of little run of guitars from the same vendor from Oxfam, kindly donated to Oxfam, and they've entrusted us with auctioning them. And we've got a Gibson ES335, Murphy Lab custom shop one, absolutely stunning. Light aged, which is when it's got that kind of crazing, and the lacquer, which looks like it's aged, but they've done it in the lab. A Gretsch 12-string, just trying to tune that actually. 12 strings are so hard to tune properly. Beautiful guitar. A Rickenbacker 12-string electric, sort of Pete Townsend reissue. A Gretsch White Falcon, very glitzy looking, looks like some Elvis would have used. A Martin, absolutely gorgeous, very expensive ticket price on that new. But we started it low, so have a look, have a bid.
All up online.
I say the Martin's got no strings on it for some reason, but that will set you back 15 quid extra, I would think, if you wanted to buy some strings from your local guitar shop. Absolutely great. And then you have some cheaper stuff too. It's not all really expensive. So if you just want a nice acoustic, there's a cheaper Suzuki one in there. There's some nice Patrick Eggle electric guitars, Fender Telecaster, George Harrison, Rosewood one. Yeah, loads. Really exciting.
Well, at the more expensive end of the scale, we've also got these David Bowie photographs. So Mick Rock photographs of Bowie, 21 of them in an archival case, and the estimate on that one is 30 to 50,000, but they are stunning. It's a great set, and I'm excited to see it.
They've achieved that before, haven't they, out in the market or more, I think.
Prior prices are sort of anywhere between sort of 42 to 55,000, that sort of range. So this was a set that was only produced in 2016, but they were sort of hand selected, and obviously Mick Rock's passed away now as well. So
I didn't realise that. Oh, okay, yeah, great photographer, famous.
So that's probably the highest estimate lot in the sale. But we've also added an extra day of an auction, as you know, John, because you were helping with the posters on that. Some really beautiful music.
I think we touched on those in the last podcast. So that's the beautiful psychedelic and 60s pop and rock posters. On the psychedelic end, you've got all the stuff from Fillmore, those American shows, San Francisco, and Hendrix and Jefferson Airplane and all that stuff. And then lots of British stuff, the more like handbills programs like Savile Theatre, The Who, some early Beatles stuff. A lot of it, and really nice, and all in nice condition.
And all from two collectors. So we had someone who collected all those programs, and then someone who separately collected all those posters, but they are all original. pretty much. There's the odd repro in there, but pretty much all original. So got a low estimate on that, about 60,000. So we'll see how it does.
Oh, I hadn't even looked at the estimate. Great.
But they're really cool. They're really visual. They look great. So we'll be interested to see how they do. What else have we got? We've got, we're allowed to say this because John, who is our vendor, John Altman.
That's a familiar name. I think, wasn't he in Albert Square at one time?
He was, yeah. So Nasty Nick Cotton. As a 15-year-old boy, John was helping with his friends the roadies move some stuff backstage, and they let him in, and they were there with these rock stars at Chatham in Kent.
With Jimi Hendrix Experience, Pink Floyd, some other people on the bill, wasn't there? But I've heard the reel, and it is so exciting. Yeah, these boys, Nasty Nick or John, this is really cool. We're there backstage. You can really feel that energy. Like, it's the sort of thing any of us would have done if you had the chance. Talking to these legends, or if it ended up legends, but they were just very famous and exciting at the time, having this little conversation backstage. It must have been recorded on a handheld reel-to-reel, because we've got the original reel, backed up with a digitized CD, which the buyer will get as well. So you don't need a reel-to-reel player to hear it. 3 odd minutes of previously unheard.
So it's Rick Wright of Pink Floyd, who wrote some of their best songs. I mean, on
Pink
the top at the moment.
It's on Relics. I absolutely love that.
So he's interviewed first, and then you got Jimi Hendrix, and it's brilliant. And the audio's been cleaned up a bit as well. So they just sound really lovely. They're chatting away to these.
You can hear someone strumming along on a guitar, like on a little practice amp. I wonder if that's Jimmy. He's not like doing crazy noodling, but it's just doing that kind of backstage warm-up. So that could well be Jimmy. We don't know.
Well, apparently Jimmy was projecting things onto the wall of the dressing room as well.
That'd be fascinating. Stuff he'd recorded on the tour on a 8mm camera, and had a projector with him. That's so unlikely, but that's really fun.
But Barrett was there as well before things sort of went south for him, and so we also have autographs collected that same night by John. So Syd Barrett, Jimi Hendrix, Roger Waters. So really great collection. And I'm really looking forward to that. And that's in our sale on the same day, the 22nd May.
And there's a bit of transcript on the listing and transcribes. Have you transcribed the whole thing?
I think we've transcribed it, but also we've got a little clip, and maybe we can pop that up somewhere, but there's a little clip.
Well, James, who you may have heard, just to remember from earlier in the show, playing Stairway to Heaven and got denied. If it made the edit, you'll hear James playing Stairway to Heaven.
Who's editing it?
As we know, no stairway is allowed in any guitar shop. Well, let's lead on to James. What have you got coming up?
So 3 weeks today, I believe, 5th of June is the first of our 2 video games and trading cards recently combined sales. So we're doing a timed sale and a live sale, 5th and 6th of June, respectively. We've got some exciting sealed products coming up. So a chap who previously worked for Nintendo has been in touch with us and has consigned over 100 sealed Nintendo products.
We know sealed Nintendo is very exciting. Took that sealed Nintendo to the game show in London, and the kids were going crazy for it.
Well, yeah. And I've just been feverishly sort of looking up some of the preview lots that we've got coming up. And it's always a bit of a question mark when it comes to the red strip Nintendo seals stuff, because it holds some sort of a premium for some reason. I think because it was only in Europe, it's got that red Nintendo strip rather than like the American stuff doesn't have that. And so, for instance, we've got a red strip N64 Yoshi Story that's coming up. That's factory sealed. Estimate on that is £500 to £700, but on a good day it could do upwards of £1,000 easy. But it's just these sort of speculative estimates. We've got a graded Starwing, which is a CGC 8.0. That's $250 to $350. We've got a sealed Doom 64, which we've seen come to auction a couple of times in the past. That's also $250 to $350. Red strip sealed F-Zero X Player's Choice for the N64. Banjo-Tooie, which might be something you...
Banjo-Tooie, I tested that, yes. Oh, wow. Yeah, there was a test on that. It was many late nights.
So yeah, stuff like that. The weirdest thing we've got, which isn't sexy, I don't know if you've seen that, John, actually, that.
It's a box. What's in it? Cat food? I can't tell what it is.
So the image isn't the sexiest, but it's a factory case sealed pack of Game Boy Advance SP Rip Curl Special Edition consoles.
Suddenly that has got quite sexy.
Yeah.
Just the thermostat.
Yeah. So you wouldn't tell from the box because it is just a cardboard box. But as you can see probably there, John, it's got the proper Nintendo branding, so you know it's not a pile of rocks inside of it.
So was it like inside, James, on these? What is the brand? It's got Rip Curl branding on it? Or?
Yeah, there's meant to be a little image here for illustration purposes that hasn't gone live yet. It's there's like a surfer on the box, and then on the actual console itself, there's the Rip Curl logo, and it's a silver console, but it's got the Rip Curl logo with sort of like red and black accents on it. But quite often, a battered boxed console of that would go for upwards of £1,000 on eBay. So we've got a sealed case of 6.
Wow. Oh, well, it's always excited, that sealed stuff. Do you call it NOS, new old stock? That's something people use online, I've noticed it.
Yeah, I mean, it came out in 2004. Is that vintage now? I suppose.
I think that's now vintage, yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of our style lot. That's what's coming up, and there's plenty. I don't think we've ever seen quite this many sealed sort of Nintendo products in the same.
Brilliant. We remain, James, and I'm pretty sure the only auctioneers that I'm aware of who are having regular dedicated computer game sales, video game sales, consoles, games. We're getting more and more of it, aren't we?
I was just about to have a chat with you, Andrew, before we recorded about the Nintendo Switch 2 is coming out 3 weeks today. And as excited as people are about it, there seems to be a lot of sort of upset around the true physicality of the cartridges now.
Right.
Because when Nintendo gave out the dev kits, it's very boring, nerdy stuff, so skip forward if it's, boring you. But they were only providing 64 gigabyte cards for third-party developers. So because they know how to develop for their own games, they can get them down to that size. So they actually are on the cartridge.
But does it rely on then a certain amount of streaming type stuff as well?
So if it's a third-party developer, you have to download an additional update once you put the cartridge in. So we're in this weird halfway house at the moment where, and PlayStation and Xbox are doing this too, they're guilty of it, but you can trade in these cartridges or discs to your local store or whatever, which is good. So, you can still give it to your friends and it's not this digital thing that is so ethereal that you can't pass it on to someone else. But you could buy a Nintendo Switch 2, they call them game keys now rather than cartridges, but you could buy a game key cartridge in 20 years' time and they might have turned the servers off. So it's just a piece of plastic. And it's weird because Nintendo have always been about preserving game history, really. And they're, even in sort of like the modern age, they're putting them onto virtual consoles and stuff if you have a Nintendo Switch subscription. But even then, they're turning off the servers on this stuff. And we're really seeing a sort of rise in sales of games that are fully committing to putting that physical game on the card.
Yeah.
So there's games that otherwise they wouldn't be very exciting for sort of like a launch lineup for a game console like this. They're selling above expectations because some of these developers are committing, like CD Projekt Red is a big one. They've managed to put their most recent Cyberpunk game completely on the cartridge, which it's quite a feat really for a developer to do that. But people are sort of voting with their wallets for these developers that are committing to do that.
Oh, no.
And I think it's trickling over into the auction sort of world.
I heard something in the news recently. I can't remember, it was some big streaming services. One of the big streaming services where you buy a film. I think it was films or TV shows or both. And they were deleting them from the library. So people had already bought them. Did you hear something about
I
that?
heard something about the Black Mirror Bandersnatch thing. I know that Netflix are just turning that off and there's no sort of Blu-ray or...
Oh, right. Okay. This was one of these where I know on Apple that I buy stuff and it's like yours to keep forever type thing. I don't think it was Apple, but it was one of the big ones. And it's like things people had bought digitally were then getting deleted. And I was like, oh, yeah, see, James always says, buy the physical thing.
Something digital rather, isn't it? That it's going to disappear and you cannot have it anymore. There was a chap in the other day who was collecting something and I think I heard him say, I just want to play Sonic again. And was it a NES or so it was a Mega Drive that he bought. So yeah.
Well, I think that's probably, to bring it back to the vinyl stuff, that's probably why it did so well, because there's something quite tangible about putting a record on. I'm not really a Spotify user, but there's so many sort of like half albums that are just floating around and no one's kind of jumping into your CD collection or your vinyl collection and ripping it away from you. And I think to put yourself at the mercy of sort of these digital platform providers, it's always a risky kind of game, I think. But yeah, I think that's why people come to their local auction house and bid with confidence, because they've got that product, that physical product.
And actually, there was a really great mix of people buying records on the day. So it's not just guys like me of a certain age. There was a great mix of people, ages and everything. So yeah, that's so promising.
Yeah. And just as a sort of a message out there to anyone who's looking for a valuation, there's no cost to it. Pop us an email with some images. Video games, we sell so many different categories: video games, vintage posters, memorabilia, That's just on the collectible side of the business. Toys, fine art and antiques and everything else in between. Vintage fashion. Yeah, it's what have you got to lose?
Email us what you've got. Hopefully you'll be part of an exciting sale soon. Great. All right, we better keep cataloguing then.
Mm-hmm.
Got loads
Are you
to
gonna
do.
play us out? Seeing as I played you in.
Go on then, yeah, swap over. Oh,
I'm not going to sing.
what's one I can do? Oh, yeah, here we go.
Okay.
Do you like the Smiths?
Of course. Who doesn't?
Well, it doesn't mean I can play it. Let's
Okay.
give it a go. The dreaded sunny day, so we'll meet you at the cemetery gates. Keats and Yeats are on your side. That'll do you.
Okay, thanks.
Say goodbye.
Bye. See you next time. Thank you for listening to the Gavel Gang Podcast. If you've enjoyed what you've heard, please subscribe and take a look at the Ewbank's website for more information on this and upcoming auctions. Until next time, going.